Happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang practice session, where you'll learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give you a brief overview of this Satsang session. If you'll direct your attention towards your screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior. But only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These practice sessions are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these practice sessions, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ram Ashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangis. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Sorry, I think I'm trying to test drive one of my meditation chairs, so I've blurred the background. Just found a place, and so today I think the topic is pretty close to my heart, pretty close to what we practice here. It's about meditation in silence, or actually before that, it's like, how do we understand or misunderstand silence itself? So the significance of silence in our lives. So I had recorded a video. We have talked about this off and on, but I'd recorded a video a while back, which we just published on YouTube. I think I'll try to find a link. Um, so yeah, if we can, watch the video first, and then we'll practice, and then we'll talk about it. All right. Yuan, if you could play the video, please.
Let's talk about silence. I think today's culture, we not only underestimate the value of silence, it's not only just teenagers, anybody and everybody feels uncomfortable when they're silent. And I think it's a disservice to yourself. So let me pause here. This section or this video I'm dedicating to my grandmother, Guru Maharaj's wife, Jiyama, because every time I think about silence and think about how someone can preach or pass on knowledge or make you feel peaceful in silence, without a spoken word, so much can be transferred. It could be a mental state. It could be a state of knowledge. It could be a state of higher consciousness itself. Maharishi Raman, who was a big sage in southern India, who eloquently talked about silence. And he said, speech is actually distracting the real communication. What he meant was that in silence, we are communicating very deeply and effectively. And our vocal language actually disturbs that process. And he goes on and on about the significance and how potent silence is. He says, deep meditation is eternal speech. And think about that, how deep that is. Actually, those who have practiced some meditation, when in deep meditation, they acquire this higher awareness. What is it? It is when you become aware of so many things that you were not aware of. Meditation is a process through which you are able to hear your inner voice. And that, I think he's referring to as eternal speech. So your inner conscience, you're able to bring your inner conscience to a state where that like literally is talking to you in meditation. So it's in a sense, your ability to stop the mental activity is meditation, and that is real silence, he says. So real silence is when you are in deep meditation where mental activity has stopped. And he also says that it is extremely potent. He gives an example of Dakshinamurti, when 4 sages came to him with several queries, and no words were spoken, and they went completely satisfied with all their questions being answered with no spoken word used. So he talks about silence is through which knowledge actually appears to you. So Maharishi Raman talks about the significance and the strength of communication through silence. And he says, think about a speech. Sometimes you listen to a speech and then it says it touched your heart. So he says the communication that touches your heart. Think about heart-to-heart speech. In silence, how much stronger that would be. So he says the strongest form of communication is silence. And strongest form of activity is peace. Pretty deep. And he says when you are in silence, you are connected in nature in a whole different way. That you are resonating with nature in the sense that you can, in those circumstances, bring certain powers to play that you would not be otherwise. So he says silence is very, very potent. Then he says that, in form of communication, so if you are, say, you're praying, prayer in silence, which a lot of people do not understand what it is, forget about doing it. But Maharishi Raman said, prayer in silence is the highest form of prayer. And communication in terms of guru teaching the shishya or the disciple, he says the silent discourse is the highest form of a discourse. He says there are initiation ceremonies for guru and disciple where through touch, through eye contact, through other means, guru initiates the disciple. But he says all those are secondary to the highest form of initiation, which is through silence. And he says, think about speech. Something started in the subconscious, then became a thought. Then potentially after that came out the word. So he says the word is the grandson of silence. And hence, if you step back, the real thing, the inheritance that came was through silence. And that is why it is so much important that we figure out how we can utilize those root forces or the sources of that energy to our advantage through silence. And essentially, to sum it up, what we need to think about is silence need not be uncomfortable, need not be something that we completely avoid. When I see in satsangs, when thousands of people sit in silence, you can feel that energy. That collective energy is enormous. I would definitely ask you to experience it yourself. Do not avoid connecting to yourself through silence. Listen to yourself through silence. See more and become aware. A higher level of awareness would come through silence. So let's reinvigorate this very potent tool. As Maharishi Raman eloquently talks about, the most eloquent form of communication is silence. So let's make use of that. Let's communicate and imbibe energy and knowledge and hear to the real self through silence. Thank you.
I think I should play this before every silent meditation that we do. So now we will practice it. So basically, let's sit in a relaxed and still posture. And, uh, at this point, no activity. So as we're discussing here, we have to get to that point where we meditate in deep silence. So a couple of things that help. Obviously, we start with music. Music helps the concentration. Then music fades away, and we go deep into silent meditation on this transcendental energy, which in form of light, we have to manifest this transcendental energy in form of light. That light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming the light. This light is, all inside and outside. So basically, we're becoming the light and that energy. So to start with, eyes lightly closed because the sensory input distracts us, and a relaxed posture so that, because every time the body moves, the mind moves with it. So we want to, keep the eyes closed, still and relaxed posture, and then just feel the presence, feel that this transcendental energy is right here, right now, and this light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we're becoming one with this light. Mind wanders away, which it will. It's very natural. Just bring it back to this thought and this thought alone. All we're doing here is observing this transcendental energy and just feeling the presence, and that it's in the form of light, and that light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming, completely immersed in this light. So we'll start with music. Music fades away, and then we go deep into the silent meditation, and then we, transit out or transition out of meditation through music as well. So let's start now. So happy Tuesday, everyone. Glad that we are here in Satsang. It's your time. Questions, comments, thoughts, unmute or put it in a chat. Um, you know. So any comments or thoughts on silence? How silence works for you? So Rich, you're saying it's, well, yeah. I think, silence is really, I think that there should be one more place for it, and two, I think we need to uh, understand how to utilize it. And a lot of times, I don't know if maybe I'm going on a segue here, but if satsang is to be with transcendental energy, as Eddie was talking about earlier, if we actually connect, feel the presence, then you would not feel alone. And if silence speaks to you, then you would not, that would be literally a next step. So Karen, AC, Joe, and Rich, any thoughts on this beyond that?
All right, I thought I was being a little funny, but giving you the silent treatment.
Everyone is, so
Yeah.
you're not alone.
You made a very good point, so we're all in favor, apparently.
Yeah. No, the more I think about it, and I dedicated it to my grandmother, who was like, master of the art in a way. When I was talking about her, it's like once she would sit in the session, once placed, like it was like she wouldn't move at all. Like, I mean, that itself is like, it's called Siddha Asana, which is like, when you like literally, um, you gain complete control on your asana. That's like Siddhasana. So it was literally like that. And yeah, still feel that I can kind of recall like her presence was just phenomenal. It was like, talking about practice, meditation, satsang. I mean, it's all about practice. And she was like very, very dedicated. Twice a day, like take a shower, clean clothes, and then sit in meditation, just day in and day out.
Just think of silence being the antithesis of stress and noise of your life, right? So it's like a vacuum.
Yeah, yeah. It's see that is that it's if you what is the silence filled with, right? I mean, so if you connect with transcendental energy at that point, silence becomes very potent, right? So my grandfather, like he wrote, as we talked about many times, I mean, books after books after books. I still cannot fathom how someone can do that. Like so many, books. I apologize if you're listening to my dogs here.
Mhm.
Um, so he used to walk a couple of miles or more, and he used to say that he walks with his guru, even have a conversation, and then he would come back, and in that inspiration, and he would actually write.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
If I could add something
Sure.
along those lines,
Yeah.
I saw a brief snippet of a program. It was about an artist in, I believe, Greece, and pretty renowned. I never heard of him, but um, when asked how he goes about painting, he said, "I don't paint what I see. I paint what I feel from what I see." And I find that when you do that, you reach another spiritual level where you realize you're no longer in control. And I don't know, I kind of equate it with the transcendental energy you speak of resulting from meditation.
Yeah. It's in a way, a lot of artists kind of connect to a deeper self. Um, and and I guess there are multiple ways to manifest this, and how you really let it flow. Um, I was reading about the flow aspect for the artists, like there are this writer's block, which I have plenty, and so how do you make it flow? Um, that probably is somewhere you know connected to what you're saying as well.
He did also mention higher power. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. So what you mentioned is like not what you see, but what you feel and kind of perceive at a higher level, maybe, right? The higher power, through the higher power. Is it?
Yeah, I think he was saying when you do that, you will automatically, some kind of magically, you'll find you go to a place of a higher power where you no longer have control.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That describes satsang meditation to me. It's like when you let go, it flows, you know? Yeah.
That's the transcendental energy.
Yeah. It's like, because till we are in control, we are connecting to ourselves in a way that it's, more um, ground level, materialistic level versus, when you transcend that, the connection is just at a different level altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joseph, how are you? Any thoughts, questions? And otherwise, let's, wrap-up thoughts, Eddie?
It was very good video, by the way. I think a lot of people will be interested in once they see it. But our tradition here on Earth is to speak loudly to others, to have them hear you. And unfortunately, that's not the case, because the louder you speak, the more they don't listen. And to get you to listen to what they're saying, they speak even louder, and it just doesn't work, right? So this is our tradition. We yell a lot at each other, and no one really listens. We don't learn anything. But in the background of all of that is the very soft, quiet voice of of the Creator, or what we call God. And the only way to hear that voice is for us to quiet our minds. So God speaks very softly, but he speaks all the time. And if we want to tap into that intelligence and that wisdom and to hear that voice, we must be quiet, and we must calm our minds, so that we can hear it. And so in that silence, we find the wisdom and the knowledge and answers to problems and such that we're looking for. And so, yeah, it is a tremendous source of power, and we all should learn how to utilize it, just by being silent. So that's kind of what I wanted to say today. And it's something you can practice in your spare time. I mean, if you have, 5 minutes, even 10 minutes, you can just, there's that old practice where it says, you exhale 3 times and just relax. Well, during that time, you can also just quiet your mind, try to quiet your thoughts, and you practice this thing over a period of time, and you're able to maintain or increase your ability to quiet your mind and maybe hear, the voice of God as well. So, something we can work forward to. And if you can do a whole weekend of that, that's even better, right? It has been done. People do practice this in sort of various forms through different organizations. So it is a thing. It really is a thing.
Yeah, I was also thinking about an immersive weekend that we should probably plan. So we can have like 3 sessions on the weekend, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. I just, thank you again. This is a very good topic. So it's very interesting. The video was very interesting as well.
Yeah, it's when I read what Maharishi Raman has written, it was rarely I see that expressed in such elaborate fashion. So Joseph, you had unmuted. How are you? How are things?
I'm fine, thanks.
Where have you joined from?
Sydney.
Oh, wow. Good. Glad to have you here. Any thoughts, comments, questions?
No, not really. Just getting my head around on how to doing Zoom properly, but that's all.
So how familiar are you with meditation? Do you follow a practice or starting out?
Not as much as I'd like to. Many years ago, I tried some, then I got out of the practice. That's all.
Yeah, that happens. But glad that you're here. Same time we meet every week, same link. So I don't know your time, Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Well, right now is 10 a.m. Wednesday.
Yeah, we have 7 p.m. Tuesday. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're about 10 hours in front of English time.
Right. Yeah, so I'll see what time it would be for Saturday, 10 a.m. Probably much later at night, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be Sunday night
Yeah.
our time.
Yes.
Or
If
no,
this,
no, it'd be Saturday night. Sorry. But anyway, as long as I can get on the link, easy enough. If I don't have to register again or whatever. Yes.
yeah. So do you have the link? I'll try to send it to you so that you can just click on that link and join at this time every week. So it's
Okay.
10 a.m.
I'm not that.
10 a.m. Wednesday. You said.
I'm not that sure. I've got no internet, no computer. I'm only using a mobile.
Oh,
That's okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, and glad you were here. And peace, light, and love be with you. And have a great week ahead. So thank you all, and we'll be back in Satsang soon. See you all soon.
Take care. Good night.
Good night, Karen.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good night.
Jeff.
Thanks.
Bye, Rich.
Bye. Yes, indeed.
Bye, Eddie. Good night. Namaskar, Omkar.